As a respect for the community that are watching online and they couldn't come, we want to do a translation in Spanish simultaneously, if it's okay with you guys.
Please say your name for the record.
Mario Cornejo, 137 Dennis Street, Roselle, New Jersey. Again, good evening with everybody. Muy buenas noches. Por segundo año consecutivo estamos aquí para pedirle a esta administración que entienda que Roselle es una ciudad diversa, con muchas comunidades que con su esfuerzo contribuyen al desarrollo de la ciudad. La comunidad hispana es una de ellas. Nuestra presencia es innegable. Somos más de la tercera parte de la población total de Roselle. La mayoría de los pequeños negocios en las principales calles de la ciudad son negocios hispanos y, para mayor referencia, más del 42% de los estudiantes de Roselle son de origen hispano, lo que muestra el crecimiento de la comunidad hispana en nuestra ciudad.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Yvonne Cornejo, and I'll be doing the English portion. For the second consecutive year, we are here to ask this administration to understand that Roselle is a diverse city with many communities that contribute to the development of the city with their efforts. The Hispanic community is one of them. Our presence is undeniable. We are more than a third of the total population of Roselle. The majority of small businesses on main streets of the city are Hispanic businesses. And for further reference, more than 42% of Roselle students are of Hispanic origin, which shows the growth of the Hispanic community in our city.
Estamos aquí para pedirles nuevamente que se respete la hoja de ruta que las anteriores administraciones exitosamente ya habían trazado. La Oficina de Asuntos Hispanos es el vínculo de conexión entre nuestra comunidad y la ciudad. Ese vínculo se rompió en esta administración. Estamos terminando el mes de la herencia hispana en Estados Unidos y todos nuestros vecinos, Elizabeth, Linden, Roselle Park, reconocen y celebran el aporte valioso de la comunidad hispana a sus ciudades, excepto Roselle.
We are here to ask you once again to respect the roadmap that previously administrations had successfully traced. The Office of Hispanic and Latino Affairs was the link between our community and the city. That link was broken in this administration. We are finishing Hispanic Heritage Month in the U.S., and all of our neighbor cities, Elizabeth, Linden, Roselle Park, recognize and celebrate the valuable contribution of the Hispanic community to their cities, except Roselle.
Habría que preguntarse por qué se eliminó la Oficina de Asuntos Hispanos. Si no había la capacidad de administrar esta oficina, ¿por qué no se hizo un llamado abierto a la comunidad por voluntarios? La respuesta es clara y lamentable. Esta oficina manejaba un presupuesto de $5,000 anuales, un valor pequeño para la cantidad de eventos y actividades que se realizaban antes de esta administración. Se elimina el vínculo de conexión de la comunidad hispana para que ese presupuesto quede vacante.
We wonder why is the Office of the Hispanic and Latino Affairs eliminated? If there was no capacity to manage this office, why was an open call not made to the community for volunteers? The answer is clear and unfortunate. This office managed a budget of $5,000 per year, a small value for the number of events and activities that were carried out before this administration. The connection link of the Hispanic community is eliminated so that this budget remains vacant.
Hemos escuchado a esta administración varias veces decir que juntos somos más fuertes, pero en la práctica han hecho todo lo contrario. Y cuando la ciudad prefiere omitir a una comunidad que alza su voz, esto es una forma de retaliación. Pero no podemos estancarnos en el pasado y en las cosas que no se hicieron. Es tiempo de mirar al futuro y poner en práctica lo que predican. Pedimos que se incluya y se reconozca a nuestra comunidad hispana como parte de esta ciudad llena de historia y diversidad. Estaremos vigilantes para hacer que se respete esta comunidad noble y trabajadora que está aquí para quedarse.
We have heard this administration say several times that together we are stronger, but in practice they've done the opposite. And when the city prefers to omit a community that raises its voice, it's a form of retaliation. But we cannot get stuck in the past and the things that were not done. It is time to look to the future and put into practice what was preached. We ask that our Hispanic community be included and recognized as part of this city full of history and diversity.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Good evening. Salam Ismail. I'm the director of the National United Youth Council Incorporated, Elizabeth, New Jersey. And actually, it's the first time I ever got a chance to speak before this council, ever, in my 40 years. So I'm happy to say, and most of y'all are my friends. I'm here to discuss a very important issue that is probably greater than the issue that was just explained here just moments ago. And it's funny because I just had a similar conversation at my Elizabeth Council meeting just recently about the Black and Latino community and its growth and how that's going to impact the Black community. Probably the next 2 to 6 years, Elizabeth will have a Latino mayor. The numbers is about 63% and growing. And those are the numbers that counted on census. And you're having a similar situation here in Roselle as well as Plainfield. The Hispanic community is growing by leaps and bounds, and they taking numbers. They're building an extreme economy in Elizabeth that's second to none. It's going to happen here in Roselle. How do we deal with this? There are going to be communities that are going to feel that they're being outcast, i.e. African American community. We need to not give up the bond between Black and Latinos. Even though a lot of our issues are similar in kind, ours are here and theirs are here, suffering burdens of all different kinds of situations, from the mass incarceration to gun violence, you name it. We have similar issues. Ours is probably 3 to 4 times greater when you look at the numbers. How do we deal with it? How we don't deal with it is we don't separate the communities. If we do that, I'm talking to the Black community, we're going to be looking for problems that may even stem down to our children, and you know what that can be. And I'm dealing with some of that now in my city in Elizabeth that spills out to this town. What I'm urging you to do is reconsider putting this office in place, how it could benefit us, both the Black and Latino community. One, not release our bond. We fought together on a lot of issues that determines a lot of concerns in our communities. There's no sense of releasing that now. We can't afford it. The Latino can't afford our long-time relationship, and we can't, like it or not. So I'm asking you, the governing body, to reconsider that. I'm here not in protest. I'm here in support. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jessica Chavez, 1239 Chestnut Street. Good evening. As a member of this community, I would like to express some concerns. For the last 9 years, the Mayor's Office of Hispanic Latino Affairs, established on April 17, 2013, by Ordinance number 2455-13, has been a place dedicated to the growing Latino community here in Roselle. I'm not going to stand here and say that it was a perfect office, but it was a place that had its ups and downs as any other department or office here in the borough. Sometimes we had members, and others, there will only be a few. Not all of our meetings had the turnout that we will be hoping for, but it was an office that was growing and learning from their mistakes. It was an office that was dedicated to representing and listening to the Latino community. The purpose of the office was to undertake and promote activities and programs of benefit to the Hispanic community of the borough of Roselle, to provide ongoing information pertaining to the Roselle's Hispanic community, including how the Hispanic community contributes to the borough, and to bring representation and awareness to the mayor, council, and other public officials regarding specific needs of the Hispanic residents in the borough of Roselle. Many events took place. Some of those events put our borough on the map. Last year, we celebrated our first Latino festival. It was a small one, but it was put together with love for our community. Many people from across the Union County, many Latino-owned business owners sponsored the event, and we're very happy to help. Kids will have a smile in their faces when 3 Kings Day came around. Many of our elected officials will stop by and help distribute the toys and learn from one another. Even with differences, we will still work together for the betterment of our community. The Latino community brings a lot to the table. We call this borough our home, where our children are growing up, where we have decided to lay our roots and live the American dream. As it was mentioned in a resignation letter that was sent out via email to mayor and council on February 8, 2022, this office has not only helped the Latino Hispanic community, but the entire Roselle community. And as a former member of this office, I would like to clarify that we never abandoned the office. We served our term, and it was time for us to move on and allow other members of the community to take charge and grow as they represented the Latino Hispanic community here in Roselle. It is great to see the creation of a new multicultural diversity and inclusion advisory committee. And I hope that we can all be represented in it so that we can be stronger together. As mentioned before, we are here to help. On the other hand, it is also unfortunate that a decision was made to repeal the Mayor's Office of Hispanic Latino Affairs, a place where we were represented, where we will bring up our concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Francisco Algomera, 113 Popular Street. I'm here tonight to ask you guys, why is there no more Hispanic events anymore? Like a few years back, like I could say before COVID, there used to be a lot of events. I remember talking to my friends all about the Hispanic events. Like we all got all excited, and most of the people. I'm from the high school. I'm a junior in high school. Everybody. I remember when I was still in grade school day, everybody used to be like, "Oh, wow!" Like all the Hispanics, everybody reuniting, having a smile in their face, and I just want to know why, out of the sudden, everything has been like canceled. Recently, I just saw that some of my friends were talking about the Salvadorian event that was gonna happen a few weeks back, and they were telling me, "Oh, what happened to it? Why is nothing happening anymore?" Like not too long ago, it was Mexico Independence Day, the 15th of September, and I just want to know why everything has shut off all of a sudden. And I don't like going to other communities, seeing other communities celebrate Hispanic events. Like I know there's a lot of Hispanics in Roselle that really love their own community here in Roselle, people that love living here. And I have a lot of friends that really love coming to the events. And I just want to know why all of a sudden it just disappeared out of nowhere. And that I hope we could like bring it back again. In November, the 3 Kings. I know that's coming up. Hopefully we could do that again. I remember I was one of the kings doing community service, seeing all the little kids, smiles, giving them the toys, a lot of Hispanics. And I know there's a lot of Hispanic kids that will love to see the events again. I have a lot of friends that keep telling me, when is the next one? But I hope we could bring it back this year, everything again, because I was living here since I was born, 16 years of my life, living in Roselle. And I remember every year going to an event, seeing a lot of like festival, the people giving out food, seeing people dancing. I'm a dancer, by the way. I remember dancing since I was 10 years old. Been dancing here for the community, and it just really sucks that we can't do that anymore. I remember so many fun times I had with all my friends here, and I hope we could actually really bring it back. So I really do love dancing here in my community. I really do like going to other communities, but Roselle is my home. It's been my heart. I've been here for 16 years of my life, and I really hope that we could really bring back those events. And thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Sylvia Turnage. I wasn't going to come to this meeting this evening because I'm not really feeling well. But when I was home watching this horse and pony show on Facebook, it compelled me to come down here and say a few words. Okay, first of all, I say this at every meeting. There has to be a separation between the executive branch and the legislative branch. When the legislative branch sits up there and starts to talk about employees and what they are and what they are not doing, and it's going to be zero tolerance, they are clearly out of place. And that's why we have so many lawsuits. That's up to the administrative branch. We have a business administrator. That's his job, Madam President. Okay, no one else's job up here. You can have a governance committee, a fake committee. You can have a personnel committee, whatever you like. But whatever comes out of that committee, you discuss it with the business administrator, and it's up to him to disseminate policy, not you. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it was a slap in the face for every Hispanic in the borough of Roselle to constantly see the expensive flyers, okay, these pretty words you put out, spending our tax dollars on flyers. 1 minute we're having some type of enterprise, I can't even say it, cultural enterprise, Hispanic, whatever, okay? And you're looking for vendors. The next minute we're not having it. The next minute we're having it. You canceled the flag raising for El Salvador. Okay, we have many, many different ethnicities between Hispanics. There's different diasporas. Okay, everyone should be celebrated. And then to say that they quit, you have your political minion come up here to say, well, everybody quit when I joined, right? But that's the same guy that you got on the payroll when you had those shake your butt parties out there in the parking lot under the $44,000 worth of lights, okay? He's the one that you were paying for it. He got his cut, so don't have a political minion come up here and speak for the entire Hispanic diaspora in Roselle. You know, this is shameful. Talk about the thing, and then the recreation report. You didn't talk about any events that you had prior, any successes, any events future, what, the trunk or treat? That's a joke. You put out a calendar, you waste all this money putting out a recreation calendar, and 6 months of the event on the calendar passed already. We got a freaking library across the street. That's a mystery. You walk in, there's a counter or a desk there. You want to go look for books, and they tell you you can't go in the back. The books are all on the shelves. They're organized. They ask you, what do you want to read? Well, what do you like? And then they go in the back and bring a stack of books out for you to look. Listen, there should be unfettered access at the free Roselle Public Library. The library director shouldn't be running people away to different towns because she refuses to let them pick out their own books. Okay, and don't we have a liaison to the library? Would that be our council president? Have you inquired upon this? Is that one of the employees that you're talking about when you're saying it's zero tolerance, they shouldn't be rude? Well, why don't you start there, since you feel that's your job? You know, this is ridiculous, and this has got to stop. We have a mayor walking around with a shirt saying, I am Roselle. I'm sorry, you're not, okay? Because the residents of Roselle are humble, honest, hardworking people with integrity. They don't walk around bloated with self-importance. They come up here and ask you humbly, can we please have an event? Can we please work together? They shouldn't be saying that to you. You should be saying that to them. All of you should be ashamed of yourself. In everybody's report, there's nothing. There's nothing in anybody's report. The finance committee chair didn't talk about anything. Let's talk about how we're going to pay for all those shake your booty parties.
Thank you.
Okay? Let's talk about that. Where's the money coming from?
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I've sat here and I've, heard a lot of, stuff pertaining to this Hispanic Latin. I'm going to go back with Mr. Reyes when he first started the event over at Sylvester Landfill. Do you remember, Mayor?
Oh, I put it together.
Okay. The mayor, as he stated, put it together, but it became an issue, okay? And the issue was when it did become political. When Mayor Danzero came into play, when Mayor Shaw, who's the mayor now, was on recreation, okay? At one point, nothing was being charged for Mr. Reyes to come and bring this to our community. Everything was excellent. Everything was going very well until, as they stated, politics got involved. It became, well, you have to pay now, or you have to do this, or you have to go pull permits. I remember this very, very clearly because at that point, I said, why would you allow someone to have something? And I spoke to Mayor Shaw about this. And now all of a sudden, because they're not donating or they're not doing what has to get done, you're pulling this away from them. Shame on this borough. I sat here and asked when Mr. Dave came up and asked him, if you're going to create, and I've said it to the mayor, a multicultural, have you reached out to everyone? Are there bylaws? If you're starting a new organization, I've asked for bylaws. I've asked if anyone reached out to the community to actually see if they were interested in joining this. I'm still waiting for an answer on that. I will support whatever endowment that anyone have for the Barrel of Roselle, but guess what I'm not going to do is sit here to support something that I'm not made aware of. And I'm going to stand here again tonight and ask, can I please see the bylaws? Have you reached out to members to join this organization? I'm still waiting for answers.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
I'm still waiting for answers on that I've asked everyone that's sitting up here for this, okay? Secondly, we talked about the resource officers coming into our schools. When I was chair of public safety, that was all in play, that was all set in stone for September. They were going to come in. There was money that was allotted for this program. I don't know what happened. Politics played a part in this, okay? What we need to do is stop playing politics. When you have someone that can sit up here and read emails of what was sent back and forth to them, I have emails that were sent to department heads demanding. I have emails where council people, and not calling no name, have asked several other council or several department heads, if you don't do this or if you don't do that, guess what? I've spoken to several administrators about any of us interfering with the barrel of the business. You're talking about emails? There's tons and tons of emails. Why they wasn't being read tonight? Why wasn't those emails being read tonight of what council have sent out to department heads? I'm tired of it. When we're talking about let's speak the truth of what's actually going on here in Roselle. I'm not part of no committee. Mr. Vallejo is not part of any committee. Again, I sit up here and I'm going to continue. When do not have knowledge of what's going on, guess what? I'm not going to support it. We can sit here, we can look, we can read. I had no knowledge of no emails, what was sent back and forth. You know why? Because we weren't part of that. So all of this tonight was news to me of what was sent. Were you aware of this, Mr. Vallejo?
I wanted to have comments.
Okay. So when stuff is not passed on to the whole complete council, I have to sit here and ask for point of order because you know why? This is all news to me. This is why I ask for a point of order, Mayor, when stuff is not privileged to me as sitting as a council person. We also, it was mentioned about the library. I had a question and concern. We're paying $5,000 for that library. Who's it being paid to? I went to go over to the library, and guess what? And I have to publicly sit here and say, shame on us. Shame on us. When we're talking about coming together, doing what has to be done for the betterment of Roselle, I do not see it. I don't think it's fair that we sit here, we badger each other. I don't think it's fair that we sit here and it's like, oh, kumbaya. I also want to thank the gentleman that came up and talked about the fire. I commend you as being a hero, you and the gentleman that helped kick in the door, because I was told that the mayor had a club that knocked the door in to have this gentleman come out, and he saved him. And I even wanted to commend the mayor for being a hero. So now that I know you're the hero, I will at one point honor you and the gentleman that also helped to save this man's life, to ask him to come down. So again, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention, because I, again, was not under the impression that you or the other gentleman was the hero that went and kicked the door in and asked this gentleman to come out and save him. So again, thank you. There's other issues that I'm going to talk about during my council comments that I want to bring out. And as the mayor said, lay everything out on the table. I think tonight is a lay everything out on the table. And mine is council interfering with department heads. I've said this over and over. I've spoken to the BA about it. And now what I'm going to do is call the state. None of us should have privilege or any information or anything to go into any department head and actually tell them what to do. We have a BA. And if the BA is allowing this to go on, shame on you, Mr. Smiley. Shame on you. You're the head of this barrel, not me, not the council. So I'm asking for us to stop this. Assemblyman Atkins, there was a concern about, you mentioned the loan forgiveness program. If you get an opportunity, and I know you came up, could you please just give us some more information? I know the governor mentioned something about a $10,000 and a $20,000 forgiveness, that loan forgiveness program. So I'll come up to the office, because believe me, there's a lot of people I know that would like to have that, to have those funds waived. So if you can get more information on that for me, would you please? Thank you very much.